This is Shadi. Today we're gonna be discussing Austrian wrestling deep in the Alps called Rangen, which means wrestling. And we're gonna be looking at some similarities with judo, of course. Now, I don't know the initial arsenal of the art, but from what I see a lot of judo style takedowns. Can it be that they took a lot from judo, especially with the proliferation of information? I'm sure it does. A lot of arts are taking from each other these days. You can see some judo in freestyle wrestling. You can see a lot of wrestling and judo in other arts as well. So I won't be surprised that there's a lot of judo that went in to it. But before we do all of this, please don't forget to check out my book, The Origins and History of Judo, a translation of a manuscript from 1903, available in French, English, and modern Japanese. Links will be below. So let's take a look. You can see the thick clothing, it's white. So the initial idea is to put someone down on both shoulders, either by takedown or by turnover. Now let's take a look at this beautiful combo of Ochi and Kouchi Gari. Gorgeous. And here you can see, and then gets him on his shoulders. Now you will see a lot of scooping throws and counters to it. Here it's a beautiful Harai Makikomi, and it's very reminiscent to the North Korean legend, both world and Olympic champion. Here also same thing, counters a scooping throw by a Harai Makikomi. I've discussed this in my video. This is how they countered leg grabs in the past, something like that. I'll link it at the end. And so like I said, the goal is to put someone on the back of their shoulders, on both shoulders. The bout is 6 minutes long. If both cannot score or win in those 6 minutes, both are considered eliminated. And so it's very similar to what we call Batsugun in Japan. And the winner gets to hold farming lands. Obviously, this tradition goes back for a very long time. Here you see the Harai Makikomi being, so you wrap around the arm and then sweep outside of the thigh. Here you can see also some very judo-esque techniques, uchimata, overhook uchimata, also a grip down the back as we just saw. And here you can see everyone is familiar with this particular form, where you just do 1, 2, 3, draw a triangle with the feet and then launch the thigh, the buttocks deep between the legs and then lift upwards. There's countless ways of doing it, obviously, but this is your classical form now considered. And again, I won't be surprised if a lot of these judo techniques made their way, because judo is such a important and popular practice in Europe. So look at this massive Sukuinage, not Morotegari. I'll explain why. And here is the legendary Kate Howie, who was known for this. Kodokan explains, since there was a lift and a scooping upward and then a slam, that makes it a Sukuinage and not a Morotegari. Morotegari, you just reap the legs and dive forward and downwards. So it can be one leg or two legs. Here, again, I would say, Koshi Guruma, you can find it in a lot of indigenous wrestling around the world. I believe we saw it in Kushti, in Indian wrestling. We see it, of course, in Greco-Roman wrestling, freestyle, you name it. Just grab someone by the head and then wheel them over the hips. I won't be surprised if it's found everywhere. It's very organic. This one here, when you put someone on their belly and then scoop them up like this, similar to the 2008 Olympics. And then here, rotating a knee wheel, or the Hiza Guruma as well. You can see so much from the gripping, from the way they unbalance. Of course, these white t-shirts and white pants are obviously very thick, so they can withstand this style of wrestling. These guys are big, as you can see. They're very athletic, they're very strong, and yet the gripping resembles a lot of judo gripping minus the long sleeve. So you can see some of the old gripping, like the days when the gi was just a half a sleeve. And here he goes for the scooping throw, gets countered by a beautiful Uchimata Makikomi, and then look, he tries to complete the roll to get him on both shoulders, but he actually fails, so he couldn't win. Now, if this was judo, he would have probably got a big uzari or even an ippon if for a second he got him on both shoulders immediately with quickness and strength. So Uchimata Makikomi, as you see on the screen, it is where you launch Uchimata, finishing by wrapping around, or you can immediately wrap around then launch the leg. There's many ways of doing it, but it's a very devastating throw. Be careful, don't land on your opponent's head or your partner's head. Here you can see going for a knee pick and then finished with a kata guruma or a knee wheel. So again, it's one of those techniques that you can see in many indigenous wrestling, not necessarily just judo or sumo. So in sumo, obviously there's a different way of doing it, since you cannot put your knees on the ground, and but in jiu-jitsu obviously you can do that. And here you can see Jimmy Pedro starting an attack with sode and then finishing it with kata guruma, since now he's aligned on the axis of the shoulders, and here rolls over. Today I don't know if that would eliminate him, but it's pretty cool to have these somersaults. I know for a fact they are illegal now. So here you can see again dropping on the knees and doing it, because it's much easier to put them on your shoulders when you're on your knees. So, and now here let's continue a bit. So as you can see, you have the turnovers, you have many types of gripping. Also there's overhooks and underhooks, since it's not a big jacket with a lot of slack, so the range of gripping is somewhat close to moderate, and that's something that's pretty cool. Again, you're gonna have also turnovers, not just throws, in order to get someone on to their back. So I find this wrestling style pretty cool, very judo-esque. With a bit of training, a lot of us judoka can go out there and just compete. I think it will be fun. And also the Austrian Alps are absolutely gorgeous just to visit, not necessarily wrestle in. And I'm sure you can get a good beer over there after the the competition. So if you have anything to add, let me know down below. Don't forget to check out the links pinned in the comments. This was Shadi, and thank you for listening.